It is senior night here at Brown University. Barrington's Mark McAndrew, Michigan's Damon Huffman, and Mark McDonald from Lexington, Massachusetts play their final games in a Brown uniform. It's coming up next on Cox Sports. You are looking live at downtown Providence, Rhode Island. It is crisp and cold, a winter night, but on the east side, it's warm inside the Pizzatola Sports Center, where we've got a great Ivy League men's basketball matchup for you. The Penn Quakers take on the Brown Bears. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cox Sports coverage of local college basketball here on Cox Sports. The Brown Bears host the Penn Quakers tonight. My name is Scott Kradishy. You got two good teams in the Ivy League squaring off here tonight. Let's take a look at the Ivy League standings. The Brown Bears in second place with a record of 8-3, 3 games behind the league leader, Cornell. Penn, a very young team, really not expected to do great this year, and here they are at 6-4, themselves just a half game out of third place. I am joined by Mike Rubin here at the Pizzatola Sports Center, but before this game gets started, Mike, the festivities surrounding senior night, and 3 terrific young men and 3 terrific basketball players will be honored.
Yeah, it's always very bittersweet when you talk about senior night, Scott, especially for 3 guys who have meant so much to this Brown program. Damon Huffman, one of the best three-point shooters, not only in Brown but Ivy League history. Mark McAndrew, the local product, perhaps one of the best shooters, if not the best scorers in all the Ivy League and probably the East Coast. And also Lexington's Mark McDonald, who unfortunately won't play tonight due to injury. But you talk about Huffman and McAndrew, Scott, you got 2 of the best scorers in the league.
Well, and then you take a look at those 2 young men shooting around, and again, you're talking about 2 of the best sharpshooters in the Ivy League, and Mark McAndrew and Damon Huffman. You know, not to be outdone, the Penn Quakers, again, a very young basketball team, and they have a very talented freshman, 7th in the league in scoring at 13 per game. His name is Tyler Bernardini.
Yeah, Tyler Bernardini is probably, you mentioned one of the best scorers in the league, had one of the best games in the country against one of the best teams in the country. Then number 1, UNC. Watch the freshman from Carlsbad, California, light him up for 26 points earlier this season. When he gets hot, he's hot. He went 7 for 9 last night against Yale.
And here you take a look at the freshman from Carlsbad, California, Tyler Bernardini, 7th in the Ivy League in scoring and in three-point field goal percentage. Should be a good one here tonight between the Brown Bears and the Penn Quakers from the Pizzatola Sports Center on the east side of Providence. We'll have the starting lineups and play-by-play coming up next right here on Cox Sports. And we welcome you back to the Pizzatola Sports Center on the campus of Brown University. The Brown Bears hosting the Penn Quakers tonight in Ivy League men's basketball action. The starting lineups for both teams. Take a look for the Penn Quakers. They go with Eggy and Bernardini in the backcourt, along with Brian Grandieri. Up front, getting his first start of the season, is 6'7" junior Brennan Votel, and he is joined by Jack Eggleston. For the Brown Bears, they will go with McAndrew and Huffman in the backcourt. Up front, Sullivan and Skrelja, joined by Scott Frisky, filling in for the injured Matt Mullery. The head coach of the Brown Bears is Craig Robinson in his second season at the helm, the 2-time Ivy League Player of the Year at Princeton, an overall record of 27-27 coming into tonight's contest, 14-11 in the Ivies. For the Penn Quakers, their head coach, the former coach at Brown University, Glenn Miller, in his second year at Penn, an overall record of 33-25, and that includes a 19-5 Ivy League mark.
Well, there's Coach Miller. He knew he was somewhere in there.
Speaking of Glenn Miller making his return to Brown, he gave us his thoughts before the game on what it was like to return here to Brown University.
That means it's going to be a tough night. No, it's difficult to come back and compete against guys that you recruited and guys that you care about. Very proud of them, the season they've had, the careers they've had, though. Outstanding individuals who work hard and are passionate about what they do. And it's going to be a difficult night. It'll get easier after this year.
Well, Mike, I may be a little biased, but I think tonight's game features the best 2 coaches in the Ivy League, in Craig Robinson and Glenn Miller.
Oh, you got that right. I mean, I witnessed firsthand. I was a senior when Glenn Miller came to College Hill from Connecticut College and witnessed probably one of the best turnarounds in college basketball over his tenure here. And Craig Robinson's just kept the ball rolling this last season. And you know, both of these teams, Scott, playing for a lot. I mean, playing for a lot heading into potential postseason thoughts.
And we will talk more about that as the game goes on. We're just about set to get it underway. Tonight's officials are Greg Dura, Tim Ebersol, and Pete Duglenski. This is the 114th matchup, as you saw, between Brown and Penn. The Quakers with a decided advantage. They've won 94 to just 19 victories for the Bears. The tap is controlled by the Quakers, and we are underway. Brown will open up in their matchup 2-3 zone defense. Eggleston with it up top for the Quakers, being harassed by McAndrew. They get it down low to Votel, and the junior takes it to the basket and misses, rebounded by Skrelja. Last night, Skrelja had quite a line, 11 points and 12 rebounds in the win over the Princeton Tigers.
This is a Penn team that is very good on the offensive glass, especially considering Eggleston and Grandieri. They're two of the top 10 in the league in offensive rebounds. Big night for Skrelja is needed.
Quakers open up in the man-to-man defense. Brown wearing their road brown uniforms. That's what happens in the Ivy League. On the second night, they play Friday and Saturdays. The home team wears the road unis, and the road team wears the home unis. So Penn in their home white unis as McAndrew misses the shot. And back the other way come the Quakers. No score, opening minute of play. Grandieri picks up his dribble on the left wing. Goes up top to Eggleston. Now they swing it on the right side of the floor. Down low, there's a steal by Scott Frisky. Frisky making the start from Matt Mullery, who was injured last night. And on the transition bucket, McAndrew off the feed from Huffman. The senior connection puts the Bears on top 2-0. And we welcome all of you to the Pizzatola Sports Center here on the campus of Brown University. The Brown Bears hosting the Penn Quakers in Ivy League men's basketball action. Scott Cardisci, Mike Rubin with you. The Bears off to a 2-0 start as you join us. Peter Sullivan, the freshman, takes it to the basket and gets hacked in the act. He'll go to the free throw line and shoot two.
The one concern they think for Craig Robinson would have been pace, especially after last night's game against Princeton. Seems like the Bears have a little pep in their step early on.
Peter Sullivan on the season, an 80% free throw shooter. About a third of the way into the season, assumed a spot in the starting lineup as a freshman. Had a big game early on in the year at Northwestern. In fact, went to high school just 2 miles from Northwestern University in Chicago, and it was at Northwestern where he scored a career-high 19. Shortly after that, found himself in the starting lineup as he makes both free throws there. Four 0 Brown on top. The Bears remain in that matchup 2-3 zone. And the Quakers going to turn it over as they throw the ball into the backcourt. Eggy couldn't chase it down before it went across the timeline, so the Bears will get the basketball back up 4-0. First substitution of the game, Harrison Gaines checks into the Quakers lineup. Gaines, third in the Ivy League in assists at 4 per game. Brown on top, 4-0 in this one. Mentioned Scott Frisky in the starting lineup. Last night, Bears big man Matt Mullery injured his knee in the win over Princeton after he scored a career-high 14. As they go down low to Skrelja on the backdoor cut for two.
What a great look. And Skrelja just shook his man, cutting in. And once again, you talk about speed, Scott. Skrelja just, he cut in. The D had no idea where he was.
Harrison Gaines will try the three for Penn. It's no good. Frisky there for the weak side rebound. So Mullery goes down with a knee injury. He is on crutches here tonight, and he joins the starting center Mark McDonald on the sideline. McDonald has essentially not played since the Yale game here about 5-6 weeks ago when he suffered a concussion. So the Bears a little thin up front. Backdoor cutting Peter Sullivan loses it out of bounds. It was tapped out of his hands by the Quakers' Tyler Bernardini. It'll be Brown ball underneath. There you see Mark McDonald on the Brown bench. Huffman on the baseline off the inbound. The jumper is good from about 7 feet away.
And Glenn Miller wants timeout. You know this is not the start he wanted, Scott. I mean, he's down 8-0, and it just seems like Penn Didn't realize that this game started at 6, not 7, the usual Ivy League start time on Saturday night.
Oh, you're right. Glenn Miller not happy with the start to this one for his Quakers, but Craig Robinson very happy with the way things have started for his Brown Bears. You see the inbound to Huffman and the jumper from the baseline, and I'd say Damon Huffman's pretty much money from that range.
He had 18 points last night. There's Glenn Miller, and the one thing you can always be sure about when you see Glenn Miller on the sideline, there's no doubt how he's thinking at any given moment. You knew he was not happy with the start of this game.
He knew this was going to be a rebuilding year for his Quakers, but that doesn't mean he's going to coach them any less hard than he does on any given year. And really, I think their 6-4 record in the league speaks volumes of the job he's done with his very young and inexperienced basketball team.
Yeah, and he lost. I mean, one of his only 2 returning starters earlier this year, Darren Smith, one of the top returning players for the Quakers, broke his right knee in the first half of the season opener. He was lost for the season. So this young team got even younger, and he's done a great job.
Bears defense smothering early on as Harrison Gaines gets called for the traveling violation. He shuffled the feet before putting the ball onto the floor, and Glenn Miller's going to his bench again. Checking into the game is Justin Riley, and he will replace Brennan Votel.
Well, we mentioned Votel getting his first start of the season. 14th or 15th different starting lineup that Glenn Miller's used this season indicates just the kind of trouble they've had finding a good rhythm and chemistry, and the Bears are going to try and pounce on it with their experience.
Damon Huffman with the basketball up top for the Bears. Now it's Sullivan on the right side. Frisky's going to take the jumper from the left wing, and Scott Frisky makes it. The junior gets his first 2 of the night. And he puts the Bears up 10-0 4 minutes into this basketball game. Much different from the start the Bears got off to last night against Princeton. It was kind of a lethargic start for Brown, and there seemed to be a lid on the basket. Well, tonight they don't seem to be having much of a problem. They're 3 for 4 at 75% thus far. Shot by Bernardini comes up short. Here come the Bears on the run. McAndrew takes it in, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Gaines. And that'll send McAndrew to the free throw line. You see Mark McAndrew right there, one of the 3 seniors for Brown. His Bears lead it 10-0 over Penn. We're back right after this. There was a stat I noticed, shooting percentage. Here you go, check this out. When Penn has a better field goal percentage than their opponents, they're 9-1. When at worst, they're 1-15. Right now, the Bears are shooting 80%. Penn shooting 0%.
Well, you're not going to win many games shooting 0.
I'm fine. Yeah, I got you. How's he doing? All right. Rhodes, the first annual Cox Providence Road Races. Gotcha. You want me to come out and reset where we are and the score, or just go right to the promo? Okay. We're back at Brown University, where the Bears lead the Penn Quakers 10-0. The opening 4.5 minutes of play here. Folks, come celebrate our roads at the first annual Cox Providence Road Races, featuring the Cox Sports Marathon, Relay, Half Marathon, 5K, and Down City Community Festival, May 4th. For race registration and event information, visit us at coxsportsmarathon.com. Quick start for the Bears to this one. They lead it 10-0, and they'll inbound it from under their own basket. They toss it into the backcourt where McAndrew chases it down. Well, interesting stat on this one. Penn is 1-9 when they have a worse field goal percentage than their opponent. They are 1 and 15, excuse me, 9 and 1 when they outshoot their opponent. Right now, Brown shooting 80%, Penn 0 for 4, so looking good for the Bears. Frisky, strong move to the hoop, but it falls off the side of the rim, but Skrelja keeps it alive with the offensive rebound.
A very smart move by Skrelja. He got it immediately out of traffic. There were 3 white jerseys around him. He was swarmed, did a nice job getting it out, resetting the offense.
Huffman's going to try a 3 from the left wing. It's long, and the rebound comes down to Eggleston for Penn. Down low, they get it to Riley. Turn around in the paint, no good. Another rebound for Chris Skrelja. That's his 3rd board of the night.
He's been immense so far on the glass. With Mullery out, that was something the Bears, no doubt, were looking for him to step in and do.
Frisky, nice backdoor pass to McAndrew, who finishes it off. The assist to Scott Frisky. McAndrew now with 4 points and a 12-0 Brown lead. It's one of the things about that Princeton offense that Craig Robinson runs here at Brown University. You need your big men to be good passers, and Scott Frisky is just that. Now a strip and a steal by McAndrew. 2 on none with Huffman. He's going to take it himself and lay it in for 2.
Another timeout. Glenn Miller, arms crossed. McAndrew's thrilled. He's coming back business as usual, but there hasn't been a single aspect of this game yet, Scott, that has gone right for the Penn Quakers.
You don't think these Brown players wanted to win this game badly? I talked to them off the record down in Philadelphia, and listen, they know they're playing their former head coach. They want to beat this man very badly. Let's take a look at the backdoor play. What a pass by Frisky as McAndrew cuts backdoor for the easy bucket.
Yeah, there was absolutely nothing the defense could do against great passing. I mean, it was just a dandy of a look, and McAndrew with a great finish. That's 2 in a row for him. But you know, you mentioned the finishing the season. When they went down to Penn, they ended what was a 24-game home winning streak for the Penn Quakers. You have a little bit of chip on your shoulder, obviously, anytime you play Penn and Princeton in the Ivy League, and you're not one of those 2 teams. And certainly you're seeing that here tonight. A lot of energy from the Bears.
And of course, for the juniors and seniors, as the Quakers still can't find the basket, it goes out of bounds to Penn. For the juniors and seniors on this Brown team, they were recruited here to Brown by Glenn Miller, and obviously weren't happy when he left. And not only left the program, but left for another Ivy League program. So they're really motivated to beat Miller's Quakers here tonight.
It takes a few years for that sting really until you don't have any more of the players recruited, and that's going to be another turnover for Penn.
5th turnover for the Quakers. The Bears have not turned it over yet.
It's almost like their entire plan, their entire game plan, their entire system has been disrupted by the fact that, heck, we're 7 minutes in. They haven't put a point on the board. I mean, there's slow starts, but, last night they got off to a slow start. You read on the release, they had 6 points through the first 4 minutes. They've got 0 through 7.
Hand check's going to be called there on Kevin Egge, his first foul, the 3rd on the Quakers. The Bears will throw it in underneath. The Bears, without their top 2 starting centers, McDonald and Mullery, out due to injury, outscoring the Quakers 8-0 in the paint. A lot of that, of course, due to those backdoor layups.
I'll tell you right now, I mean, I like playing chess. I don't know that I'd want to be trying to design the defense to stop this offense. When it works, great. I mean, that's why so many teams across the country have adapted it. And, I mean, you've watched it all season, Scott, surely more than me. It's fun to watch when it works.
No question. Freshman Adrian Williams has his shot blocked. Back the other way, Harrison Gaines has his pocket pick, but he regains control, gets it down low in the paint for the jam by Eggleston, and that gets the Quakers on the board. 7.5 minutes into the game. Frisky backs his way into the paint. Now kicks it out top to Peter Sullivan. Sullivan sees an opening, takes it to the basket and puts it in for 2. 4 points for the freshman, Peter Sullivan. And they're going to get Huffman for a hand check on Harrison Gaines, trying to pick his pocket. You see Craig Robinson there. He has just done a magnificent job here at Brown University. Listen, I've followed this program for many years. Take a look at the last play here. Peter Sullivan sees the opening and takes it to the basket. But I thought it would be hard to find a replacement as good as Glenn Miller. Brown University did just that. In fact, you could argue Craig Robinson has gotten more out of Miller's talent than even Glenn did, and that is saying something.
Well, and truthfully, Scott, a nice offensive rebound inside for the Quakers. But, you know, truthfully, you gotta give him a lot of credit for stepping in, sticking to a system that was very different. I mean, the experienced players on this team, it's a very different offense to run than what they were running the first 2 years, and they're on the cusp of tying the school record for victory if they can get one of these last three.
We will take a break with 11:42 to go. The Brown Bears up on Penn 16-4. Take a look at the backdoor pass from Frisky to McAndrew. 2 fouls.
Well, he was just giving the ref the business. He didn't like that last call.
Wait a sec. I get who doesn't have one then? I got Eggy with one, Grandieri with one, and Votel with one. Okay, Gaines has 2. Okay, so Votel didn't get one, then I made a mistake there.
Yeah, okay. Votel does not have a foul.
Okay. What's it? Yep. Okay. Back inside the Pizzatola Sports Center on the campus of Brown University. The Bears on top of the Penn Quakers by 12, 16-4, 11:42 to go here in the first half. Oh, we talked so much about the 2 coaches for these teams. Glenn Miller, the former Brown coach, now leading the Quakers. Between 2000 and 2004 is 63 wins, a school record for a 4-year period. In 02 and 03, 17 wins each season. That is a Brown record. But Craig Robinson's Bears poised to break that record. They have 16 wins coming into tonight with still 3 games to play.
And Glenn Miller coached really the names that have become so iconic in the last 10 years of Brown basketball. The guys like Earl Hunt, Mike Martin, who's now coaching with him. And of course that NIT appearance in 2003. I'm sure Glenn would have loved another crack at Virginia that year because that game was a great one down in Charlottesville.
McAndrew kicks it to Frisky in the corner. Frisky down low to McAndrew for the easy lay-in. The patience that the Brown players have to let things develop offensively, and it almost always pays off with a high percentage shot.
Well, they waited for the double team to draw out, and you mentioned the big men have to pass. That was just a great look for McAndrew, and he had all day on that shot. What a great look.
McAndrew has 8 points. He leads the Ivy League in scoring at just under 17 per game. He was first team All-Ivy last year, a candidate for Player of the Year this year in the Ivies. Sullivan looked like he tied up Bernardini, but they're going to say he also got a piece of his arm in the process. So Peter's going to pick up his first foul. That is the first team foul on the Bears. Well, actually, Andreas Schreiber was the man who had the basketball. A 6'9" sophomore from Sweden. Averages 5 points, 4 rebounds per game. And Schreiber misses the free throw, a 45% free throw shooter on the season, so he doesn't make many.
Conjures up a lot of comparisons, all of which I'll keep to myself. Hey, he hit one, so can't be all bad. 1 out of 2, he's better than his career mark.
That's right.
That's algebra for you, Scott.
Some token pressure being applied by Penn, but they back out of it. 18-5 our score. Bears on top by 13. Frisky gets it in the high post for Brown, has it slapped away, regains control. McAndrew's going to spot up for three, off the window and in. Did he call glass on that one?
I don't know that he had to. What a great looking shot. He's a 42% three-point shooter. He's one of the top 10 or 15 three-point shooters in the Ivy League history, or bearing down on that mark at least.
Judging by the smirk on his face as Sullivan comes up with a steal, I'm going to guess he didn't mean to put that one off the window.
Hey, whatever works.
McAndrew takes it in, kicks it out top. McAndrew with 11 points to lead all scorers in this game. The local product from nearby Barrington, Rhode Island. And Skrelja throws it away as Sullivan was cutting. Take a look at that three by McAndrew here as Frisky hands him the ball and sets a nice screen to free him up for the open look.
Sure looked like they hit it off the glass, but I think you're right. I don't know. I think the bottom line is nothing but net, and I think you're right. The smirk, 11 points though. He is hot. You know you want to make your senior night memorable. He's doing just that. What a great start for his game.
Down low, first shot is missed, tip-in doesn't go, and the rebound to Damon Huffman. So the lid remains on the basket for the Penn Quakers, but the Bears also playing some terrific defense.
Now this Quaker team has had struggles. I mean, there's the well-documented affair down in Florida. They lost to Florida Gulf Coast. They only put 6 first-half points up in that game.
Huffman pulls up from 17, yes. 4 points for Damon Huffman.
He had 18 a night ago. He's having a pretty good weekend overall, and again, Huffman 1,000 points in his career. What can you say? I mean, when you get these two guys playing your two guard spots, you kind of got to pick your poison if you're the Penn defense.
There's a steal as Huffman knocks the ball away into the hands of his teammate Peter Sullivan, and here come the Bears. Sullivan spots up for three. It's off the mark. Rebound tipped out into the hands of McAndrew. The Bears just seem to be doing everything better in this one, shooting 10 of 15 from the field. And Penn, you saw their struggles from the field as well, just 2 of 10 at 20%. Skrelja gets the feed back down low from Huffman. Gets it to Sullivan on the baseline. He takes it to the basket, loses the handle, gets it back. 4 on the shot clock. Huffman for three, no good. Rebound. Peter Sullivan keeps it alive. The Bears just seem to want it more than the Quakers right now.
I think Penn's just absolutely shell-shocked. I mean, this is the third possession, I think. Third shot clock, third reset shot clock for the Bears on this possession.
Andrew has his shot swatted away, but the Bears get it back yet again. Sullivan takes it strong to the basket and gets bumped and fouled on the play by Bernardini. Take a look at Mark McAndrew. He's got a game-high 11 points for the Bears, and they lead it by 18. I'm shocked by this. I really am. Usually he's able to have his teams grind out a tough performance and stay in the game, and they're just, I mean, listen, they played us tough for 40 minutes down at the Palestra.
Last night they were down.
He owns James Jones, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Always
he did when he was here.
They tore off. They went on like a 20-point run last night. It's
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
It has really been an incredible experience. It has both academically and athletically, been everything I dreamed of growing up in Barrington, being a local kid. To be able to come to a school like Brown and be able to excel and pursue my dreams on the basketball court, while at the same time obtaining an incredible education and meeting a wide range and diverse group of people has meant the world to me.
To think what that young man has done in really just 2 years of play. He saw very limited action as a freshman and sophomore here at Brown, but it was Craig Robinson that was able to get the most out of Mark McAndrew, and here he is 1,053 points later, and he's inching his way up the all-time career scoring list in Brown basketball history. Mark McAndrew from Barrington, Rhode Island, has just had a terrific career, and in particular, junior and senior season here at Brown.
Well, and on top of it, Scott, we haven't even mentioned that he's an academic All-American. On top of it, what I was caught with was he said, you know, in that little soundbite there, what a great experience Brown has been, not only athletically but academically, and he's one of the brightest athletes in all of College Hill, and that might explain why he's done so well in the Craig Robinson system.
6 points for Sullivan, who makes both free throws, puts the Bears up 25-5 with under 7.5 to go here in the first half. Quakers have been unable to score against the suffocating Brown defense. They're going to get a foul there, though, on Chris Taylor, the freshman out of Plymouth, Minnesota. Taylor picks up his first foul. That's the third team foul on the Bears. To the free throw line for Penn, Kevin Egge, the junior, a 58% free throw shooter. So Egge has not enjoyed a lot of success at the stripe this season. He makes the first one. Egge had 15 points in the 66-61 loss to Brown at the Palestra a couple of weeks ago down in Philadelphia. Misses the second. McAndrew with a rebound. 25-6. Bears on top by 19. Sullivan with the basketball. Now he gets it to Chris Taylor. Taylor saw more action last night after the injury to Mullery, and he would stand to see more for the remainder of the season as the Bears again are short up front. Backdoor cutting. Sullivan gets the assist from Skrelja. Peter Sullivan with 8.
You would think that Penn's never defended the Princeton offense, the way that this half is evolving for the Bears, and they see it more than once.
It's ironic. After the game at the Palestra, I had some of the Brown players tell me that Penn by far defended them the toughest and the best of any team they had played this year. And you're right, this is night and day compared to what happened 2 weeks ago, as again, the Quakers miss. Grandieri can't hit the short jumper.
And you can see frustration setting in. They're going back down the court. A couple of these Grandieri shaking his head. I mean, he's scoreless. There's 6 minutes left here in the first half. And these are guys, Grandieri last night also scored in double figures, had 14 points against Yale. These are guys that need to heat up if Penn wants to get back into this game.
Huffman tries the three, and he makes it. Damon Huffman with that three-point field goal has just tied the Brown University record for career threes. That was his 215th of his career, tying him with the great Brian Lloyd.
Well, Brian Lloyd might be heading into the number 2 spot. I'll tell you, that was a great looking shot by Huffman, but 215 three-pointers. I know that I think Huffman has an outside chance, top 10. I think number 10 is 223s. I think it's Dan Clemente from Harvard. So Huffman's a gunner. Bears like that down low layup look, but they swing it back outside. They get a gunner who can hit him.
McAndrew's three off the mark, and the Quakers will bring it back the other way. 30-8 is the score, and an offensive foul called on Bernardini, his second personal. Here's the record-tying three right here by Damon Huffman.
He's got some nice extension. was a great look. He had some some pretty good defense by Penn in that respect too. And sometimes when there's a lid on the hoop, there's a lid on the hoop for one team, and the Bears are finding nothing but the bottom of the net.
Huffman gets it down low to McAndrew, and he's going to get called for traveling. Didn't like the call, thought he may have been fouled on the play, but that's only the second Bears turnover. The Quakers have turned it over 8 times already tonight. Penn trying to fight their way back into this one, but they have had no success whatsoever. Another turnover by the Quakers. That's number 9. Brown has been able to do what it has wanted to do tonight on both ends of the floor. Skrelja finds Taylor wide open, and Chris Taylor with the bucket.
I was watching Taylor's movement in the paint and the flat-footed Penn defense. That they just weren't paying attention to him. There's so much attention drawn by McAndrew and Huffman. And on the far side, they got an illegal screen set by one of the Quakers.
I think some frustration from Tyler Bernardini. Just picked up his 3rd foul, so Glenn Miller's best player is going to have to go to the bench.
He had 4 fouls last night also. You don't know, what obviously transpired last night at Yale, but he has not been on the court enough to be a factor in this game.
32-8 Brown on top of Penn. Taylor with the basketball, finds a backdoor cutting. Sullivan hits the bucket, and he's fouled on the play.
Did you write the script for this?
Couldn't have written it any better for the Brown Bears. 34-8, they are on top, and here you see one freshman, Chris Taylor, finding another, Peter Sullivan, for the layup. Wow.
I don't believe it.
No one could have predicted this. I know it's about an hour and a half, hour and 20-minute ride. It's probably the easiest ride in the Ivy League from night to night. Scott Credisci, Mike Rubin back inside the Pizzatola Sports Center here at Brown University. The Bears have jumped all over the Penn Quakers in this one. And you're looking at the future of Brown basketball right here. One freshman Chris Taylor to another, Peter Sullivan, for the backdoor layup and the foul. Sullivan will go to the line as play resumes. It's senior night here at Brown. We talk so much about the 3 seniors, and there you see Peter Sullivan, only a freshman. He's had a terrific rookie year, and Chris Taylor hasn't seen a lot of playing time, but again, with the injuries to Mullery and McDonald, we'll see more in these final few games and making the most of it for Craig Robinson's Bears.
Taylor saw 8 minutes of action, hasn't seen double digits in minutes of action since the Michigan game back on November 11th when he played 12 minutes, but looked good so far. It was a great look. And you mentioned big men needing to know how to pass. And it's nice when a freshman lays it out that well.
Peter Sullivan, 11 points to match Mark McAndrew's game high. And you want to know how well this Princeton offense is working for the Brown Bears? Brown has 11 assists on their 14 field goals thus far. I think not to be outdone, the defense they've been playing on the Quakers as well. There's a three by Moncton from the corner, no good. Rebound to Mark McAndrew. That's his 5th board.
Look at that, Scott. 15 points for the Bears off all those Penn turnovers. You talk about, they talk often about the assist to turnover ratio. Right now for Penn, it's more of a turnover to assist ratio. The Bears are up around 5-1 in assist to turnovers. That's almost unheard of in college basketball.
Peter Sullivan is bumped, trying to cut through. A foul is going to be called on Kevin Egge. That's his 2nd. It's the Quakers' 9th. Sullivan will go back to the free throw line to shoot 1-1 as Chris Taylor gets a nice hand going to the Brown bench, replaced by Scott Frisky in the lineup. So Sullivan with a game-high 11. He's 5 for 5 from the free throw line tonight. Make it 6 for 6. Got a nice stroke, Peter Sullivan. Sullivan, believe it or not, was a center for his high school basketball team. Craig Robinson knew him when he was out in Chicago as an assistant coach at Northwestern and talked to him a little bit, told him that he ought to start developing his perimeter skills because he could see the talent, and he took, I think it was 50 or 60 three-point shots as a senior, and you can see what it's done for his game.
He is about as well-rounded an athlete as you've seen here at Brown as a first-year athlete, as a first-year player.
Well, a rare easy bucket there for the Quakers. Brian Grandieri has 4 for Penn. 37-10, Brown on top by 27 with 2.5 to go in the first half. Skrelja looking for Huffman in the low post. And he gets it up top to Frisky. Skrelja with 5 on the shot clock, spins. Kicks it out to Frisky for 3. It's off the window and in at the shot clock buzzer. It's all going right for Brown.
Are you kidding? There is absolutely nothing you could say. I mean, that's not the shot the Bears were looking for, and somehow it still found the back of the net.
Bears in transition again. McAndrew on the left side finds Frisky to Skrelja. Skrelja puts it up, no good. Rebound, Frisky. The putback is good. Another timeout for Glenn Miller. Frisky with 7 points, and the Bears are blowing the Quakers out of this building. They lead by 32 points.
Well, if you watch the clock, top left corner of your screens, here comes Skrelja. He's driving. He wants that shot himself. Good job by the Penn D to close up. And he goes outside to Frisky, who makes it look like he's been taking those all season long. And look at Glenn Miller. He's just saying, he can't believe it. He's looking at his team. Glenn Miller doesn't even want to talk to his team right now.
That's a frustrated head coach right there. Glenn Miller, you saw sitting to his right, to the left of your screen, was Mike Martin. He is a former Brown basketball great himself, Mike Martin. Now an assistant coach at Penn with Glenn Miller. But it is all going right for the Bears. You see Scott Frisky right there. He has 7 points tonight.
First three-pointer he's hit in 3 weeks.
Adrian Williams going to get called for the hand check and the blocking foul. That'll be Adrian's first. That'll be the 4th team foul on Brown here in the first half with 1:42 to play.
Well, big difference from the 30-29 halftime score down at the Plestra a couple weeks ago. That's for sure.
16-foot jumper straight away by Grandieri is good. So Grandieri's starting to find his stroke. He has 6 to lead the Quakers. Unfortunately, his team still trails by 30, 42-12. Frisky with it. Tries to bounce it back door to Williams. Wasn't expecting it, but he still picks it up, puts it up and in for 2. Adrian Williams, the son of former Super Bowl MVP Doug Williams, the quarterback for the Washington Redskins. And he just picked up his 2nd foul there. Adrian's had a nice freshman year himself. He, along with Peter Sullivan, have seen a lot of playing time in their freshman seasons. Penn to throw it in from the corner. They get it in up top to Egge. Now Gaines will try a 3 from the left wing. It's no good. Weak side rebound, and putback is good by Dan Moncton. Brown, before that basket, had more field goals, 17, made tonight, than Penn had field goal attempts, 16. So now Penn has attempted as many field goals, 17, as Brown has made. Think about that.
Someone's not controlling the basketball.
There's about a 2-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. There's May hold it for the final shot here. Frisky up top with 4 seconds, spins, loses his footing, and he gets called for traveling with 5.1 seconds remaining in the half.
It was a little out of control off the dribble, was Frisky. He had an open path to the basket, but I don't think Craig Robinson's going to be complaining too much.
Gaines quicks it up, and he looked like he traveled before he got out to three. It doesn't go, and it was all Brown here in the first half at the Pizzatola Sports Center. A 30-point halftime lead for the Brown Bears, who lead the Penn Quakers 44-14. About as impressive a first half of basketball as any team could have. We're going to keep it here and talk to the head coach of the Bears, Craig Robinson, and I would imagine he couldn't be more pleased with his team's first half performance. Craig, welcome. I would imagine you have to be very pleased with your team's performance in the first half.
Yeah, Scott. As you know, it's hard to play on a senior night. It's so emotional for the guys, and to come out the way we did is just a true testament to the character of the seniors, and as well as the rest of the team picking them up.
Coach, you're really dictating the pace of this game. You're controlling the basketball. You're hitting all your open looks. I'm wondering, as you're watching this game evolve from the sidelines, what are you going to say to your team for what they have to do in the second half?
Well, I'm going to tell them that we can't blow a 30-point lead. But what we have to do is continue to execute. We have to continue to play D, because really it's our D that's pushing our offense even higher. Our defense is what's helping us win this game. So we've got to continue that, and we've got to execute on offense.
Coach, thanks for joining us at the half.
Sure thing, guys.
Craig Robinson, head coach of the Bears, who lead the Penn Quakers by 30, 44-14. You see Mark McAndrew with a three here, 3 of his 11 in the first half.
How long does it take you to do that?
Charts?
Yeah.
Not long. I use this. This is only my second Brown chart of the season.
Just use pencil and keep erasing.
Yep.
And you tape the other one down? Oh, you tape that
I just
over.
cut it and tape it game to game.
Cool.
And obviously you do one chart per pen. You can use it twice every Ivy League opponent, which is great. There's a computer program that does it nice and neat for you.
The kid I worked with
learned
last
by
year.
writing it down. It helps me do,
Memory, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
20, 33,
See, but
42,
I'm not classically schooled. I'm just an English major that fell into this. So I like watching how different guys do it.
I've done it the other way with the computer program. I have it, but I just like this because, again, you do commit it to memory when you write it down.
Yeah.
Just
I'm trying to.
what are we doing here now?
I think we're just talking about the first half.
Just a quick first half recap, and then we're going to come back with Robinson, I believe.
Are
we doing?
Oh, we're talking about senior day.
We're coming back with senior day.
I think so.
Hold on, I got it right here. Halftime. Yeah. Yep. Senior day. (44-14) Brown all over the Penn Quakers here at halftime at the Pizzatola Sports Center. Scott Cardisci, Mike Rubin. Glad you could join us for tonight's game between the Bears and the Quakers. All Brown in the first half, and Boy, if you're Craig Robinson, whom we just talked to, you got to be thrilled with the way that first half went.
Well, and it's interesting, Scott. I think you and I showed up here tonight expecting to see a really hotly contested, very tight game for no reason other than the way that these two teams match up against one another, especially when we learned that one of the Brown big men was going to be down. Out of the lineup is Mallory tonight. But I'll tell you, the Bears came out tonight with this real sense of purpose behind their seniors. And if this were a senior night, you didn't know it, the emotions have all been positive. There hasn't been any of the bitter to the bittersweet.
Well, the three seniors couldn't have asked for a better first half of play on senior night. Let's take a look at the senior ceremony honoring Mark McAndrew, Damon Huffman, and Mark McDonald. There you see Mark McDonald, the senior center from Lexington, Massachusetts.
And there's Damon Huffman. Of course, Huffman tying the Brown record for three-pointers in a career. It is 215th. I think that's one thing we'll be looking for in the second half is 216 and then on.
And here's Barrington, Rhode Island native Mark McAndrew being greeted by Craig Robinson. What a great career he has had here at Brown as well. You see his dad there who played at Providence College, ironically. His mom and his dad out there on the floor with him. And just a nice pregame ceremony honoring the three seniors who have meant so much to this Brown basketball program.
And you can see the emotion etched on the faces of not only the players but the parents. And I don't know if you saw what Mr. McAndrew had said to Coach Robinson was thank you. I'm sure Coach Robinson's thanking these seniors for all that they've done as well.
There you see Damon Huffman's record-tying three. Mark McAndrew, 11 first-half points, and here he nails the tray as well.
He had that one beauty of a shot off the glass. Mark McDonald, you're still going to see him a highlight from earlier this season. Shame he's on the bench because you really would have liked to have seen what he could have brought to this lineup. He's a big man, 6'10", and 63 blocks, ranked 7th all time at Brown.
And you look at some of those career numbers, very impressive for Huffman, McAndrew, and McDonald. For Damon Huffman, that three-pointer he made in the first half, tying him for first all-time of the Brown record books. If he makes one in the second half, he will hold the all-time record for career threes.
And I'll tell you, Scott, that's going to be one of the things I think that Craig Robinson would love to see happen early on. That's the only pressure left as a subplot in this game.
It's been all Brown here in the first half. When we come back, we will catch up with the head coach of the Bears, Craig Robinson, who's more than just a basketball coach. We're back right after this.
Great.
Okay. Okay, thanks. That's fourth place all time, right? Yep. Welcome back. We are at halftime here at the Pizzatolo Sports Center with the Brown Bears and the Penn Quakers. Earlier tonight, we had a chance to catch up with the second-year head coach of the Brown Bears, and we talk more than just basketball with Craig Robinson. Coach Robinson, your second year here at Brown, and I know that Brown basketball fans are thrilled with the progress this program has made on your watch. I know the athletic department is as well. How do you feel about what you've accomplished thus far?
Well, Scott, you have to be happy with what we've done so far, but truly the goal is to win the Ivy League. So it's a little bit disappointing to be here with down 3 games with only 3 games left, but when you put that aside and you look at where we are as far as the number of wins we've had, our strength of schedule, how we've done in the non-conference, I'm pretty happy.
And, Coach, you mentioned the number of wins, a chance to set the all-time record for most wins in Brown basketball history, and still a chance at postseason play, possibly an NIT or a college basketball invitational bid.
Yeah, and that's what we've been talking to the guys about. We're fortunate to still have things to play for this late in the season. And what we're trying to do is stay focused and do the things we've been doing to get us to where we are now, and maybe we can get something at the end and end up in one of these postseason tournaments.
Coach, tonight before the game, your 3 seniors were honored. How much have these 3 young men meant to you and this program?
Well, Scott, it's been tremendous, and as you know, one of the hardest things in taking over a program is getting kids to buy into what you're doing, and all 3 of these seniors, from the time they were juniors and we first got in here, gave themselves over to us completely and allowed us to do our jobs, which is invaluable when you're coming into a new situation.
Now, Coach Robinson is a little bit under the weather, folks, and there's a reason for that. He's burning the candle at both ends. Not only are you coaching this basketball team, but you're helping your brother-in-law, Barack Obama, on the campaign trail. How's this whole experience been?
Well, it's been tremendous, and I've never been this close to a presidential campaign before, and it has been humbling, to say the least, to be able to be involved and hopefully have some effect on the results. But it's a lot of work, and fortunately my team and the university have been very receptive to me doing things on my own time. So it's been great. Still have a ways to go though.
I want to gauge your confidence on your brother-in-law's behalf. Are you planning any White House visits or overnight trips to Washington in the future?
Well, you know I'm a coach, so I don't want to jinx anything. So I'm assuming he's going to lose, and then that way, if he wins, we'll be ready. But no, I think he's in a very good position. As a matter of fact, we would have never thought he'd be in this good of a position this early on.
Well, Craig, thanks for joining us at the half. Good luck to Barack, and good luck to the Bears.
Thanks, Scott.
That is the head coach of the Bears, Craig Robinson, here at halftime. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the first half stats in this one. Back with more from Brown University right after this on Cox Sports. Welcome back to Cox on Campus's coverage of men's college basketball from the Pizzatola Sports Center on the campus of Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. The Brown Bears controlling the first half of play here against the Penn Quakers. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights in this one. And we'll take a look first at Damon Huffman, the senior guard out of Petoskey, Michigan. Nails the baseline jumper there. Here's a backdoor cutting Mark McAnder off the feet from Scott Frisky for the easy bucket. And then on the defensive end, you see the strip by McAnder, finishing it off at the other end with the easy lay-in.
Yeah, 11 points for McAndrew, 5 of 8 shooting in that first half. And he was doing it at every end of the court. And then you had Peter Sullivan picking up. He has a game-high 13 points. He's a perfect 7 for 7 from the free throw line. And here's another great look that time, taking the pass from Chris Taylor.
Take a look at some of the first half numbers in this one, and as you might imagine, with a 44-14 score, all of the numbers favor the Brown Bears. They shoot 65% from the field. They were much better from 3. They out-rebounded the Quakers 16-7, points off of turnovers 15-0, points in the paint, a 12-point advantage there as well. Craig Robinson talking to his players as they come back out onto the floor and get set for second half action.
And you know that the speech, as Coach Robinson indicated to us as we broke for the second half, the speech in the locker room is about consistency. You just put together about as good a 20 minutes as you could have possibly imagined. You need to do it again.
My halftime speech would have been something like, just keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Don't change a thing. Bears open up the second half of the basketball. Quakers remain in the man-to-man defense. Sullivan dribbles it out top. Now it's Skrelja on the left side. Frisky sees an opening, spins, puts it up with the right hand and in for 2. What a move there by the junior Scott Frisky. He has 9.
Well, he got into the paint, did a nice little roll off the D, ran into a double team and somehow still found a way to get through it.
Frisky possesses, and there's a steal by Frisky as he steps in front of the pass to Eggleston, but Frisky possesses more quickness and athleticism than the other Brown big men, McDonald and Mullery, both of whom are out due to injury. He can make those quick low post moves like that. 46-14, Brown. Now Frisky gets it back out top with 10 on the shot clock. Finds McAndrew cutting back door. McAndrew to Huffman for 3, and that is the record breaker. Damon Huffman has become the all-time career three-point field goal leader in Brown basketball history.
216, Scott. That's a lot of threes.
I'm going to call a reach-in foul on Huffman right there, but that will not take away from the great moment we just witnessed.
He's wide open on the wing, and I'll tell you, a textbook three-point shot from Huffman. That was just a beauty. And a good job by McAndrew on the baseline to stay in bounds, and then the no-look pass out to Huffman in the corner, buries it. A great moment for that senior.
Grandieri with a 3 of his own for Penn. If you're trying to teach a young kid how to shoot the basketball, the fundamentals of shooting, you couldn't emulate a better stroke than that of Damon Huffman's.
You got that right, Scott. I tell you, that was textbook picture perfect.
Frisky with it up top. Well, McAndrew takes it strong to the basket, stripped out of his hands though by Eggy, and it'll be Brown ball underneath.
I'll tell you, McAndrew, when he goes strong to the hoop, I'll tell you, he's like a bulldozer going through. He has got to be one of the strongest guys in the Ivy League off the dribble.
Bears have to throw it into the backcourt off the inbound where Frisky chases it down.
Watch the shot clock.
McAndrew, the 3, it's no good. Rebound into the hands of Eggleston. There's a little baseline jumper from about 10 feet away. Grandieri, he has 11 points.
He is the Penn offense right now. He's the only player on that team that has more than a single field goal.
11 of their 19 points in this game. Still a 30-point Brown lead. They jumped on the Quakers early, and they have not let up. McAndrew to Frisky up top, makes a strong move to the basket, puts it in with a left hand. Scott Frisky has the 11.
And I'll tell you, if you were wondering if Craig Robinson was going to take the second half and maybe be a little bit, take the deep breath, I was watching him in that possession. He is barking out orders. He wants his team to continue to run the offense. No bad habits with a 30-point lead.
Frisky with another rebound as well on the defensive glass. Well, look at the performance of Frisky tonight. We told you earlier that Peter Sullivan, the freshman, earned a spot in the starting lineup about a third of the way through the season. It was at the expense of Scott Frisky. Scott Frisky, folks, did not sulk going to the bench. He accepted and embraced his role, and look at his contributions here tonight back in the starting lineup as he cuts back door and lays it in for another 2 points.
The second half's been the Scott Frisky show so far. I think he's got 13 points.
Harrison Gaines misses another rebound by Frisky. It's the Scott Frisky show here these past 2 minutes.
And again, Scott, we talked at the top of the broadcast who was going to step in for Matt Mullery out with the knee after last night's game. We thought we'd see a lot of Chris Taylor, and obviously Frisky has stepped in. He has really solidified that, and that gives a lot of confidence to the other 4 guys on the court, knowing that man in the paint, you haven't lost too much with Mullery out of the lineup.
He hands it to McAndrew, and McAndrew gets fouled by Tyler Bernardini. As we go to break, let's take another look at Damon Huffman's record-breaking three-pointer, the 216th of his career. Bears on top by a lot.
It's been a great experience. I've had a lot of great teammates, and the coaches that I've had have really influenced my life, showing me how to work hard and be successful. And Brown has really given me the opportunity to do a lot of different things outside of basketball. They've opened a lot of doors for life in general.
nobody has made more threes in Brown basketball history than that man right there. Damon Huffman just drained his 216th of his career to pass Brian Lloyd for first in the record books. Bears on top 53-19 over Penn. You know, the amazing thing about Huffman, Mike, is last year, the start of his junior season, first game of the year at Michigan State, and he is from the state of Michigan, had a lot of friends and family in attendance. Twisted his knee, went down. There was thought that it could have been a torn ACL or MCL and that he might be lost for the season. As it turned out, it was a partial tear of the MCL, and boy, did he come back quickly. He worked so hard to get back. He was back in just a matter of a few weeks' time. Take a look at the all-time leaders. Damon Huffman now the new #1, and there's some pretty good company on that list. Brian Lloyd, his brother Rick Lloyd as well in third place. Earl Hunt in fourth, and you see his teammate Mark McAndrew 1-3 away from actually tying Earl Hunt on the all-time career three-point field goal list.
I believe we're looking at, I think, 5 guys, all of whom are going to land in the Brown Hall of Fame. Rick Lloyd already in the Hall of Fame. I think Brian Lloyd will probably garner some votes in the next year or so. I think this year, actually.
He will be inducted in May.
This year. So, and I think you'll see the other 3. I think Earl Hunt is a foregone conclusion as the all-time leading scorer.
Skrelja takes it to the bucket, puts it in with the left hand. 4 points for Chris Skrelja.
Bears have their biggest lead of the night, 36. And I'm not stuttering, it's 36.
This might be one of those rare instances, Mike, too, where you can say the game might not be as close as the score indicates.
No, it sure isn't. I'll tell you, I kind of kidded when I walked in today. I said, you know, I watched a heartbreaking loss last night in ice hockey as Huffman gets a nice round of applause. I said, man, I just hope I get to see a victory. And I was talking to Chris Hum, Brown's SID. He said, well, you know, Penn always plays us tough, no matter what. You know, Glenn Miller's going to play us tough. And just, I don't know if it's even so much as Penn hasn't played the Bears tough. It's just everything has gone right for the Bears.
Traveling violation on Harrison Gaines, turnover number 12 on the Penn Quakers. 14:03 to go in this one, and that man right there has no answers for what's going on right now. Glenn Miller's Quakers down by 36 to Craig Robinson's Brown Bears.
And you know that clock, as slow as it's ticking, it's an eternity for Glenn Miller. That bus ride to Philadelphia for these gentlemen is even longer. I mean, I know it's longer than 14 minutes ordinarily, but that 6-hour bus ride, that is going to be just brutal for these guys after this game.
You've got that right. Adrian Williams, the freshman, gets it to Peter Sullivan, who had it stripped and stolen away, and the Quakers come up with a turnover. That's only the 4th turnover of the night for Brown. They've taken care of the basketball very well. And there's a steal by Skrelja, takes it right back. Leading the Brown break. Sullivan in the corner to McAndrew for a 3, and he has just tied Earl Hunt. Mark McAndrew makes his 158th career three-point field goal, and that ties him for 4th place on the all-time list with the all-time leading scorer in Brown basketball history, Earl Hunt.
You know, you almost got to sit and you got to think that these 2 Brown seniors in particular, Huffman and McAndrew. You know, most coaches, most players aren't looking at the record book as the game evolves, but it's almost like they would have hated to have made it happen, had to make it wait for another week.
I suppose it's only appropriate on a night like tonight when the Bears are just putting the hammer down on Penn that it would be a record-breaking night in many ways as well for some of the individuals on this Brown team.
Well, it's got, you know, I think if you talk to the players, which I'm sure we're going to over the course of this evening and maybe the post game, they would talk about how what the Bears are more on the cusp of is the 17th victory, which would tie the team record for wins of the season.
Let's take another look at that Mark McAndrew 3. This one right here, folks, his 158th tray of his career. That ties Earl Hunt for 4th all-time in career three-point field goals. We've seen Damon Huffman become the school's all-time three-point field goal leader tonight as Huffman made his 216th of his career. Bears in control. Quakers Just searching for some type of answers, trying to get this game back to respectability. Offensive rebound and putback doesn't go for Grandieri, but he's going to go to the free throw line and shoot 2. And he'll shoot 2 free throws, and we come back. 11:59 to go here at Brown, and the Bears in control, leading the Penn Quakers.
I think that's 2. That might be 3 on Taylor.
2,
4, 3, yep.
5.
Yeah,
What's up, Big Mac?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4,
They're doing the sound
5,
check.
6,
I got you.
7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Okay. Will do.
All right, thanks for having me.
This is impressive.
Yeah. Wow. I would like to see that halftime speech.
What can you say?
He has stuff to say.
Oh, believe me, I know what he said to him.
I'm sure he had a thing or two
Yeah.
to say. We didn't send the camera into the locker room for a bird's eye view.
Mike Rubin back at the Pizzatola Sports Center on the campus of Brown University, where the Bears lead the Penn Quakers. And we are happy to be joined, Mike, here by one of the 3 seniors that was honored tonight here at Brown, Mark McDonald. Big Mac, how are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great with this big lead we have here. Couldn't be happier.
I tell you what, I feel for you because I know you'd like to be out there with your teammates enjoying this this great game. You guys really couldn't play any better than you're playing tonight.
Yeah, you know, it means a lot to come out here and play well on senior night. Send these guys out and myself out with a good showing.
Mark, how frustrating has it been for you this year? You suffered that concussion in the Yale game, and it's forced you to see very limited action over the past, 4 or 5 weeks. I know you'd like to be out there helping the team.
Yeah, it's been frustrating, but I've been keeping my head up, trying to just help the team out as best as I can in different ways. Kind of becoming like a player coach during practice and during the game, because obviously I'm limited with my playing ability right now. So hopefully I'll come back and practice this week and get out there for our last weekend.
There's a steal by the Quakers, only the 5th turnover by the Bears tonight. Well, Mark, you mentioned you still have hopes of coming back here after tonight. Still 3 games to play, and then quite possibly postseason basketball. Have you guys talked about or thought about that much? Because while the Ivy League title may be out of reach, if Cornell wins tonight, they would actually clinch it outright. There's still a chance you guys could play in the NIT or this newly formed college basketball invitational. Is that something you guys have your eyes on?
Oh yeah, we're very excited about that. We'd obviously like to go to the NIT, but the CBI, the College Basketball Invitational, it would be interesting to play in a new tournament, see what it's like. It'd be a good experience for all of us, and we all want to play more basketball, especially me, since I've been limited out there.
And Mark, how about being a part of a team that is, should they win tonight, you will tie the single-season high win total in Brown basketball history with 17, as we look at your head coach, Craig Robinson, on the bench. Still with 2 games to play in the regular season, and then hopefully postseason, you have a chance to become the winningest team in Brown basketball history.
I mean, I really can't express how special that is for all of us, especially our 3 seniors who have worked so hard. We've had so many ups and downs here, and we've just persevered through a lot, and it's a great thing to be able to come back in 15, 20 years and say, we were part of this great team that broke the school record. And I mean, Brown basketball, I think it's the 102nd year of Brown basketball, so it's an impressive record if we get it.
Another turnover by the Bears and a foul committed on Mark McAndrew. That is his 2nd. It's the 5th team foul on the Bears, and McAndrew is going to be replaced in the lineup. Damon Huffman checks back in. Mark, how about Damon? He set the school record for most career threes. He made 2 tonight, and he passed Brian Lloyd for most career three-point field goals as Damon comes up with a steal. One man to beat. It's Harrison Gaines, and Gaines fouls him hard there. Damon not too happy, and I don't think he should be, but how about the career of Damon Huffman? You guys obviously came in together, and you know, you played 4 years together. What a career he's had.
Yeah, he's a special player. My first game of my career, we played down in Missouri, and I don't know if you remember, Scott, but I think he had 5 threes in that game.
Yep.
To be a freshman to come out and do that is just, it's impressive, and I knew that I was with a special player right from there. You know, and we play pickup all fall, and whenever he's against me, I tell my guys, don't let him get a shot off.
Huffman now with 8 points, make it 9. Check that, make that 12 points for Huffman. 60-24, Bears in control. Mark, what's the emotion like for yourself, Damon, Mark McAndrew, even the juniors, you know, Skrelja, Frisky on this team? You guys were recruited by and brought to Brown by Glenn Miller, and now you're playing against him. What's that like?
Well, it steps it up a notch. You know, we really want to beat our old coach. You know, he knows us so well and recruited all of us. So I know we're all thankful for him bringing us here. I went up to the game and thanked him before and just said I appreciate him giving me the opportunity to play here. But we all want this game really bad. A nice sweep of Penn is a great way to go out at home.
Adrian Williams on the baseline, puts up the shot, doesn't go, tries to tip his own miss, tries to tip it again, and does, into the hands of Scott Frisky. So another shot for the Bears on offense. You know, Mark, it's only natural, I think, human emotions to, you know, to be upset when your coach leaves, but to take a job within the league. So, you know, I'm sure that probably added a little extra motivation for you guys, you know, 2 times a year when you play Penn.
Yeah, it definitely does. From my personal point of view, I knew that it was a decision that Coach made for his family, and it was the right decision for him professionally. And, you know, I can't complain because we got Coach Robinson. He is a great coach, and we're really blessed to have him come and join us and really help us.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, you know how much respect I have for Coach Miller. I saw the turnaround that he engineered here at Brown.
Right.
He really turned around the fortunes of this program. I didn't think Brown would be able to bring in a coach anywhere near as good as him, and yet they found a guy who might be better in Craig Robinson. It's amazing.
Yeah, you know, Coach Robinson, you've seen the results on the court that he's got us to play to a different level, but really what he does with us on a personal level is something to be admired as well. You know, he's really helped me grow as a person, and I'm a totally different person since he's come here.
62-26, Bears on top. Here's a 3 from the left wing. It's off the mark by Eggy. The rebound tipped and controlled by the Quakers. Eggy gets it back, puts it up, no good. The tip in on the weak side is good by Moncton. The Quakers trying to pressure to create some turnovers here as Adrian Williams brings it up on Harrison Gaines. Gaines goes for the steal but misses. Now Williams dribbles it out near midcourt. Well, Big Mac, this is your last season here at Brown, but you obviously know the talents of your underclassmen teammates. What do you think about the future of Brown basketball, knowing, you know, that these freshmen, sophomores, and juniors and how they play?
Well, the future looks bright. That's what I say. We got a lot of guys. They work hard, and you know, hopefully they'll follow in our footsteps and continue a winning tradition here.
Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure covering your career here at Brown University. Thanks a bunch for joining us, and best of luck with whatever your future holds.
All right, thanks for having me, Scott.
Mark McDonald with us here at Brown University. The Bears in control over the Penn Quakers. We're back with more right after this.
You're a natural.
Great job, Big Mac. That was good. Good job.
Good job, buddy. No. By the way, from what I've gleaned from this might be the worst Ivy League loss in Penn history.
Oh, how can you? Ooh. That might be hard to look. You have to go really year by year.
I'm up to 1980. It's easy because there aren't a lot of Ivy League losses for some of those years, like when Chuck Daly was the coach.
Right. Yes. Two road games.
2 road games, yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Back inside the Pizzatola Sports Center here at Brown University, the Bears leading the Penn Quakers 62-28. Scott Cardisci, Mike Rubin with you. Craig Robinson's Bears, after tonight, will finish the regular season on the road next weekend at Harvard and Dartmouth, but they have been road warriors this year. Craig Robinson will take on all comers. He doesn't care how tough the opponent is in the non-conference, and there you see how they fared on the road, winning at Eastern Michigan. Northwestern, only the second win over a Big Ten school in Brown basketball history. They also had some other fine wins as well. In overtime at Quinnipiac, they played PC on the road, and Baylor on the road, Notre Dame on the road. Craig Robinson believes in playing that tough schedule because he believes it makes his team better once they get into Ivy League play.
Well, and Scott, also, you're going into that final Ivy League weekend on the heels of just so much momentum. I mean, you shook off the lethargic matchup yesterday against Princeton, and you came out rolling here tonight. There's so much at stake next weekend. I mean, you're playing for that chance at postseason, which you just talked about with Mark McDonald. You've got to think that Craig Robinson's going to have his team ready. And I also would have to say that the beauty of going on the road is where they're going next week. They're not going to Cornell and Columbia. It's not nearly as bad a trip.
Something you don't see there very often. Justin Riley's shot got stuck between the rim of the backboard. They go to the possession arrow, and the Bears will get the basketball. When Craig Robinson took the job 2 years ago here at Brown, I remember a conversation he had with some of the veteran players. Mark McDonald was one of them, and he said, how do you guys feel about playing a tough non-conference schedule, playing a lot of teams from the Big East, the Big Ten, the power conferences? And they all, to a man, Mark McDonald included, said, oh, we'd love to do that, Coach. As Sullivan nails the three. Because that's Craig Robinson's philosophy. He feels it makes you tougher, it makes you better. If you can play and play well against those teams, you should be able to play very well once you get into Ivy League play. And I think in 2 years, that philosophy has been proven true. 16 points for Sullivan. That's his first three here of the second half. His career high, by the way, 19. Harrison Gaines takes it to the hoop for Penn. His first bucket of the night. Andrew has it slapped away in the backcourt. Gets it to Skrelja now in the front court.
You mentioned a couple of threes. We talked obviously about Huffman and McAndrew, and now Sullivan getting in the fray. But in the paint, it's where the Bears have had their bread and butter. I think they're outscoring Penn at this point 30-12 in the paint. Oh. And that was a concern. I mean, the paint was a concern, a real concern coming into today's game.
Skrelja takes it down, puts it up, rolls off the front of the rim, and the rebound comes down to Dan Moncton of Penn. Harrison Gaines takes it in on Huffman. Shot blocked from behind by Damon, but they're going to get Huffman for the foul, either Huffman or Frisky. They're going to give it to Scott. They're going to say he blocked him from the front side. First foul on Scott. That's a 17th foul on the Bears, and 2 free throws coming up for the freshman Harrison Gaines for the Penn Quakers. You talk about points in the paint. With the Princeton offense, you don't traditionally get those points in the paint like a lot of schools do that have strong low post play. They get a lot of their points in the paint with the backdoor layups. The great hard cuts to the basket and the good bounce passes for easy layups. But I will say this, when Craig took over the job, he also said, listen, we're not going to run the Princeton offense. We're going to run the Brown offense. He said it'll have a lot of the Princeton offense principles contained in it, but you see the shooting percentages there. Look at the Bears shooting over 60% in both the first and second half. But clearly Princeton plays a much slower tempo. They milk the shot clock down to under 10 and under 5 seconds in many instances. Craig Robinson lets his team get out on the fast break. If they have a good shot 5 seconds into the shot clock, he encourages them to take it. So it may be the Princeton offense, but with more liberties than your strict Princeton offense.
Well, and also you see how this team responds to playing in that up-tempo style, because they're able to get some points on the break. They're able to use their inside-out play almost. They'll run the Princeton offense to get the look, and when Penn, or any other opposing team for that matter, closes down and starts focusing on those players cutting through in the paint, when you have a Huffman or a McAndrew that's free outside, they're getting these open looks from three-point land, and when you're shooting as well as the Bears are tonight, 65%, 63%, first and second half respectively, who are we to criticize the quote-unquote Brown offense?
Freshman Chris Taylor back in the game for Scott Frisky. McAndrew gets hit in the face by Harrison Gaines, who was trying to slide through a screen. Gaines picks up his 4th foul.
And that's been a killer for Penn also. I mean, that's Gaines' 4th foul. Bernardini's on the bench with 4 fouls. I mean, we highlighted Bernardini before the game. He had 26 points against UNC earlier this season, had I think 18 points last night against Yale. He's off the scoreboard.
Mike Brown on the season, 74% as a team from the free throw line. Tonight they are 11 for 11, and one of their best free throw shooters right there, Mark McAndrew, knocks down his first free throw attempt of the night. McAndrew 81% on the season from the free throw line. Nobody works harder than number 14 as he makes them both. 16 for McAndrew. Bears lead at 67-32 as we approach the 5-minute mark in this basketball game. Strong move down low as Schreiber hits the bucket. He's got 5. Oh, wide open Chris Taylor, and he gently lays it in. Thought he was going to go up for the jam there for a moment. But the Bears catch the Quaker sleeping off the made basket. Near steal by Sullivan. Gaines gets it back. Loses the handle. McAndrew comes up with a steal. (69-34) Brown. The Bears, with a win, will tie the school record for most victories in a season. It will be their 17th. And a nice backdoor pass from Taylor to Huffman, who lays it in for 2.
They have 17 wins in 1974, 17 wins in 02 and 03, and a chance to sweep Penn for the first time since 2003, 2004. So there was quite a lot at stake, and the chance to sweep both Penn and Princeton in the same season, Scott, for the first time ever. I mean, we talked with Mark McDonald about a sense of history. 102 years, 54 years of Ivy League basketball. It's never happened.
Well, let's take a look at one of these great backdoor plays executed by the Bears. Here it's Chris Taylor to the senior Damon Huffman, and the Bears in control. Yeah. Welcome back to the Pizzatola Sports Center, where the Brown Bears are really laying the wood to the Penn Quakers here tonight. And one of the staples of this Princeton offense, the backdoor cuts. There you see Frisky feeding McAndrew down low on the baseline, but check out this one. Chris Taylor, the freshman, finds a cutting Damon Huffman for 2.
I'll tell you, when it works, it's about one of the more beautiful things in all of basketball. And you know, there are very few teams that run it quite as efficiently as we've seen the Bears run it tonight. And I'll tell you, Craig Robinson's going to be using this tape for years to come to show teams this is how we want it to look.
Only his second year as head coach here at Brown, and a lot of firsts in program history under Craig Robinson's guidance. A win tonight will tie the most in Brown basketball history for a single season with 17, and they have a chance to break that with 2 games to play in the regular season. Gruber takes it to the basket, gets it to Taylor, who puts it in for 2. Chris Taylor now has 6. Earlier this season, Mike, for the first time in Brown basketball history since Ivy League play began, Brown swept Penn and Princeton on the road. Had never been done before until this year. And now with this victory tonight, for the first time in Brown basketball history, they will have swept all 4 games in the same season from Penn and Princeton. So a lot of firsts in Brown basketball history thanks to their great head coach, Craig Robinson.
And you know, Scott, I mean, you're obviously more familiar with Brown basketball than I am. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. But and I'm gonna interview you for a second. You would have to think that this wouldn't be the last.
I definitely don't think this will be the last first accomplished. We'll take a break. We'll talk more about that when we come back. McAndrew goes to the free throw line with the Bears up big. Right. Okay. Okay. So I would imagine get ready to talk to the seniors after the game.
Oh yeah, that'll be the easiest interview ever.
You could say to Huffman, because Huffman told me this in Philadelphia when I did a halftime interview. He said I couldn't really tell you on the air how much I want to win this game. I want to beat Glenn. You know,
Maybe I'll just ask him, how much did you want to beat Glenn?
Being part of a team like this where everyone gets along, and to go from a situation where we were a losing team to a winning team, it's meant a lot personally for my personal growth as a person and turning from a boy into a man. And also just as a teammate, I've gotten to know these guys so well, especially Mark and Damon, who are graduating with me. And, we've built lifelong friendships that will last with me forever. So it's been a pleasure to play with those guys, and they're special on and off the court.
Mark McDonald in street clothes, unfortunately, for his last home game here at the Pizzatola Sports Center. You see 7th all-time in block shots in Brown basketball history. Big Mac hoping to get back out on the floor next weekend for the regular season finales at Harvard and Dartmouth. And he really worked hard to come into this season in the best shape of his career. Now Damon Huffman and Mark McAndrew are going to be replaced in the Brown lineup. And they're going to get some nice cheers from the folks here at the Pizzatola Sports Center. And let me tell you something, folks, very well deserved. And look at the class of these 2 young men as they, in turn, applaud the crowd.
I tell you, that's a moment that most of us, myself included, will never feel. And with the fact that the score is 73-34, must make that moment all the sweeter. Piggyback on that their former coach is on the other bench. And this one has got to taste pretty good for those 3 young men.
Getting hugs all the way down the bench from their teammates. Damon Huffman and Mark McAndrew have played their final minutes on this floor. Steve Gruber brings it up for the Bears. 73-36 Brown. Jumped out to a 10-0 lead in this game, and they have never looked back. And with the Quakers down by 37 points, this in all likelihood will be the worst Ivy League loss in the history of the Penn basketball program. Mike, I know you did some research during the break and looked at the Penn Media Guide, and from the best we can ascertain, their worst Ivy League loss came back in 1968 to the Princeton Tigers when they lost 73-47, a 26-point setback. Well, right now, they're down by, what, 35?
35 with under 2 minutes to go.
Oh, Gruber, nice cut to the basket, and he lays it in for two. Steve Gruber is quick. He's undersized, only about 5'10", but he is lightning quick.
Yeah, they listed him at 5'11". That's got to be with the shoes.
Yeah, they're giving him a few inches there. And the bucket and the foul for number 24, Jack Eggleston for Penn. Steve Gruber, a sophomore from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And there have been a couple of games this year. One in particular stands out. It was last weekend on the road, Friday night at Columbia, where Gruber was asked to give the team some serious minutes in the first half because of foul trouble to Chris Skrelja. And he really played well. Came in the game at Columbia, and within about a minute's time, he had forced 3 Columbia fouls. There's a blocked shot there by Morgan Kelly. Loose ball scramble. Quakers come up with it. We're going to get another Brown foul with 1:14 to go. Morgan Kelly, another one of the many freshmen that Craig Robinson brought in his first recruiting class this year. And Coach Robinson really has high hopes for Morgan Kelly and his future running the 5 spot in this Brown offense. And Craig Robinson brought in some talented freshman recruits this year, and he's got another good recruiting class scheduled to come here to the east side of Providence next year as well.
Well, that's what we had started to say going out to that break. I mean, we've talked a lot about a lot of firsts, and hopefully this team next weekend goes out and sets an outright Brown record for wins in the season. But you just get a sense. There's so much positive energy around this program right now. There's so much hope. There's so many people thinking so highly of Brown basketball right now. As I said before, Scott, I'm hard-pressed to believe it's the last.
Gruber cuts backdoor. Now they get it out to Sean Kane for 3. It is off the back of the rim, off the shot clock, and that will be out of bounds to Penn. So 55 seconds to go before the Bears can celebrate their record-tying 17th win of the season. As they will defeat the Penn Quakers here today. And, you know, we give so much credit to Craig Robinson. I think he'd be the first to admit he's got some help. He's got some very good assistant coaches, and Jesse Yeagle, the former UVM assistant under Tom Brennan. Doug Stewart, a former Brown basketball player himself, as Eggleston goes into the stuff, and Isaac Willis.
They have done a remarkable job, not just recruiting and not just in the game management, but the teaching of this game. I mean, you can see their professorial approach to teaching the game to these young men, and you know, the dividends pay off. And I'm just glad that, you know, you come out to senior day, you shake off those emotions, and to come away with this win like this over Penn, a perfect ending to the home schedule here at the Pizzatola Sports Center.
Schreiber comes up with a steal with 10 seconds left, gets it down low. Eggleston has his shot partially deflected by Aldridge, but I'm going to call a foul on Morgan Kelly.
I think the Bears are going to get a break, yeah.
Going to be a foul on the Quakers. You look at the seniors on the Brown bench, Huffman and McDonald sharing a laugh.
Well, and I got to correct you, Scott. You thought that a lot of folks would have exited early. They all stayed.
I'm glad they didn't.
Watch this. Yep.
I'm glad they didn't.
Not a person has left.
This team, and in particular these 3 seniors, I think, deserve it. Morgan Kelly at the free throw line. Misses the free throw, rebounded by Schreiber. And Schreiber throws it away, so the Bears will get it back with 3.9 seconds to go. They get it into Garrett Leffelman with 2, with 1, and that will do it. A convincing win for the Brown Bears tonight here at the Pizzatola Sports Center as they beat Penn Quakers 75-43. The 17th victory ties the school record for most wins in a season, the 4th time it has been accomplished here at Brown, and they'll have a chance to break that record next week when they visit Harvard Friday night and Dartmouth on Saturday. Let's go right now to our play of the game, and it was turned in by one of our 3 seniors. It was Damon Huffman, who hit a record-breaking 3-point field goal. This 3 by Huffman from the right corner makes him the all-time career 3-point field goal leader in Brown basketball history. He has made 216 in his career. Our Cox player of the game. Now it's time for our CoxSports.com player of the game, and that was it. We'll take a break, and we'll come back and talk to the seniors about this win right after this. My bad.
Okay, so don't run away after it.
Back at the Pizzatola Sports Center on the campus of Brown University, the Brown Bears crushed the Penn Quakers here tonight, 75-43. Scott Cordischi here with you. Mike Rubin standing by with our 3 seniors for Brown University. Mike?
Scott, thanks a lot. Here with the 3 seniors who made the most of this senior night indeed, and we're going to start with Mark McAndrew, and you guys came out strong, never looked back, and I want you to take us through the transition from the emotions of senior night to blowing Penn out of the building.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. I don't even know how we did it. We just wanted to come out, be as aggressive as possible. I think our defense did a great job early attacking them and making them feel uncomfortable, and we were able to turn that into easy baskets. And it means the world. Me, Damon, and Mark have put so much into this program over the last 4 years, and to do it to our old coach, it means the world. It's sweet. It's very sweet.
Well, you stole the question I was going to ask the next guy, so I'm going to move aside here to Damon Huffman. #1 all-time in 3-point shots. You passed Mr. Rick Lloyd tonight with 216. It was a nice look from the corner.
Yeah, Mark made a great pass, and I've just been fortunate enough to be awarded the opportunity to play with these guys, and they've really given me the opportunity to go out there and play. And I'm a shooter, and Mark and I have been in the gym a lot of times shooting against each other, and it's a great personal award, but it feels even better that the team won tonight.
And moving one more guy down, and you mentioned when you were talking to Scott through the second half that there was a little bit of player coach in you over these last couple of weeks. You weren't out on the floor. I don't think that took anything away from the emotion of the joy that I saw in your face when you greeted these 2 other guys coming off the court.
I mean, we've been through a lot. We've been through ups and downs, and I just can't explain how much these guys mean to me, and I know that I mean the same to them. It's gonna be lifelong friendships that we're gonna enjoy, and we've got a little history that we made here, so it's a nice thing.
Well, now, guys, 17th win ties the school record for single victories in a season. 18-19 on the road next weekend. Obviously, a chance to be one of the best in school history. Who wants to field that one about just how important that is for a sense of closure?
I'll take it. Every day we're trying to break ground here as a winning program, and Coach Robinson's done a nice job of, instilling this culture that we can be good every year, and it means a lot in our last year to have that ground broken with hopefully the most wins in school history. We got challenges Friday at Harvard and Dartmouth on Saturday, but we're definitely looking forward to it because that's what we do every day is get better and try to win every game.
Well, these 3 seniors, Scott, they sure put a hurting on the Quakers tonight, something I know you and I were hoping to see when we walked in. A great senior night for these classy 3 young men. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Mark McDonald, Mark McAndrew, and Damon Huffman. We're not talking about just 3 great basketball players. Having covered every game of their career, you're talking about 3 great young men. Our final score tonight, 75-43. Brown beats Penn. Tune into Cox Sports Channel 3 Sunday at 1 as DePaul takes on Notre Dame in Big East men's basketball action. For Mike Rubin and the entire Cox Sports team, my name is Scott Cordischi. Thanks for joining us, and good night from Brown University.